There's no better time to find these tremendous Mazda savings than right now at Team Mazda. Get 0% financing on any new Mazda CX-5, Mazda CX-30, Mazda CX-50, or the Mazda CX-90. Find out just how much you can save at Team Mazda on Airline.
Well.
How much coffee with Kahlua and Bailey's have you had this morning?
Let's say 2 words, not enough.
Oh, that's a safe answer. Way to go.
So I was eating the apple, talking about my pastor yesterday. We unloaded 1,000 pumpkins last. Took us 4 hours.
Come on already.
You got the spot over there on Jefferson.
4 hours, and I can't tell you how many people came up to me and said, "So, you're ragging your pastor about the Mary and about Eden, the Garden of Eden," and I'm like, "Oh my God!"
Put you to work with the pumpkins.
Right.
Yeah.
Was that your penance then, lifting all the pumpkins?
You know what? I felt so good at the gym. I did a little extra at the gym yesterday, and then I went out to the church house and thinking, the 18-wheeler was full
of pumpkins.
How they looking? How are the pumpkins? That's such a great spot.
They're gorgeous.
Yeah, they're good?
They're gorgeous. Some of them are huge.
I know.
And then the gourds.
Yeah, the gourds are really kind of
strange
You
looking.
could have said they were gourd.
Gorgeous.
Look at you.
I'll use that later. I'm working Pumpkin Patch Saturday. So
there you
go.
So yours is up and running. Families can come out and take pictures and everything.
Saturday, Jefferson United Methodist Church. Don't let the construction on Jefferson get to you.
Oh, that's true.
Pumpkin Patch is fully open in the back. 10328 Jefferson Highway. I like to tell them it's kind of catty corner across from BRQ.
Are they still doing? Are they doing the hay rides again? Because I know they stopped doing that for a little minute.
Yeah, we're not. I don't know who is. There is a church that's doing them.
Okay.
There's a few around.
We'll have to find out.
Pumpkin patch.
I want to go.
Yeah, come on. And eat some of those apples. See if your pastor has any more of those.
I got so many pictures of the kids.
Oh, you do.
smiling.
You love taking
Right.
pictures.
Yeah. Well, you know how they have the little hole in the scarecrow. You get the scarecrow,
right,
and you just put your face up there.
Yeah.
Or you go and sit on the little hay bench. And I've got so many kids just in your church's backyard.
We do have that.
The pictures.
Yeah, those kind of things for photo ops.
Yeah.
I'm not going with Greg Merriweather ever again because he left me.
Wow.
He left me in the corn maze.
He didn't leave you in a corn maze.
And
Greg.
Port Allen. And left. And I'm trying to find my way out of the corn maze, and it's like, where's my ride? The street beat, they left.
It took you too long to find your way out.
He said, find your own way home.
But I thought they would come and get you. They do with the kids, but not me.
Oh.
Just leave him out there.
Johnny's fine. He'll be fine.
Boy, am I glad you found your way out.
Notify next of kin.
Oh, no.
No. We got some good mazes. We've had some good mazes.
Yeah,
And
the
it's-
Bird Museum, LSU Botanic Gardens, they have a great corn maze out that way, too.
That's a really good
They
one.
paint them.
Go with Merriweather.
Noted.
He'll leave
Okay.
you.
Dang.
He's looking at his watch. He's going to leave you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you separately, sitting on a bale of hay is not the most comfortable.
Sure
You got to
isn't.
really check that out before you
You
sit.
gotta have the right clothing on.
You have the right
Denim,
clothing.
right?
Jeans.
Don't be wearing something
Shorts.
flimsy.
You can
Something that
wiggle
can
around in
puncture.
that hay and make yourself a little, and it's very comfortable after a little while.
What?
It is.
Well, you
If
were
you
stuck
don't
in a
move.
corn maze. You were out there for a while. Had to make
You
it
just
comfy.
accepted your fate.
Right, had to make it
You were
comfy.
one with the
Oh,
corn
my
maze.
God.
Okay, so all of that. I mean, we got to be at
I
some
started
point.
rethinking every decision I've ever made in my
Well,
life.
yeah, you work here.
Yeah.
But are we actually heading towards like corn maze, getting lost
Yeah.
and getting pie? Are we heading towards that kind of weather?
We really are. And we need to bring back, who was it that brought the pumpkin spice, the bread, the pumpkin bread?
Oh,
Oh,
Ann
yeah,
Milnick.
Ann
Bread
Milnick.
Spice.
Spice.
Yeah.
We need to get her
Company.
back in here. That was so delicious. And
make that
yes,
happen.
this is going to be a pumpkin patch weather forecast. We just have to wait a little bit longer, but it's definitely there. It's absolutely in view, and it's in our 10-day. I think you're going to love the 10-day, especially the second half of that. 69 degrees out your door, so I knew we'd be flirting with that number, and we are right now. Meanwhile, the dew points actually take a little bit of a dip tomorrow. Interesting, because we do have a chance of rain tomorrow. Not that great of one. The best chance of rain probably Friday, so it adds up. It makes sense that dew points are the highest on Friday, as we will get a couple showers and thunderstorms coming up from the south, up from the Gulf. Meanwhile, the way it's going to feel over the next 5 days, perfectly fine. Upper 80s, low 90s, nothing we can't handle, but we want to really cool things down. We're in October after all. All the green on your screen not hitting the ground. We zoom out, a little bit of activity in the eastern Gulf. Nothing doing there yet, nothing brewing at this time. And there is a look at Category 1 Hurricane Kirk, expected to be a Category 3 major hurricane, a beast of a hurricane, but it is just going to be a fish storm, just kind of wrap around, no threat to land. Why can't they all be like that, right, folks? Next one right on its heels, literally 90 and 90. I just checked the 7 a.m. update, and it's still at 90 and 90, but I think later today that'll become Leslie. If this one ever formed and got a name, it would be Milton, but I'm telling you right now, I don't think it's going to get a name. Most of the models really weaken that system, and it's more of a broad area of low pressure. And that's why I keep showing this moisture, because this big area of blue, that's really where the rain's going to be. It's centered all over the Gulf. And then as we get into the early part of next week, this front's going to sweep in, give us some beautiful weather, but even more importantly, it's going to sweep out, broom out any of that tropical moisture and push it over to Florida. Unfortunately to Florida, right? They don't need it. It's got to go somewhere. We don't want it here, but we kind of feel bad because they don't need all the extra rain over there, and that's what the models are showing, especially on the Florida Gulf Coast. But I think they should hopefully breathe a sigh of relief because, like I said, right now, it doesn't look like this thing becomes a hurricane. Let me show you what I'm talking about on the GFS. I keep showing the GFS because this is the aggressive model. We're actually going to see two separate areas of low pressure. That's what you're looking at. Here's one, there's two. And it looks like they just kind of morph into one big blob, and there's really no organization. So looking at that, it doesn't take a meteorologist to tell you, that does not look like a hurricane. It doesn't even look like a tropical storm. Tropical depression, maybe. And that takes all the moisture, again, into the eastern Gulf. So here we are just sitting pretty in Louisiana. And yeah, I think we're going to be okay. So we're not hitting any alarm bells. In fact, I think we're going to be just fine here. 91 for your high today. No chance of rain. Weekend, well, it's only a few days away. 30% chance Saturday, down to 20 Sunday. I would say Sunday is the slightly better day. And then look at this. Matt Williams was telling us earlier, it's been since 2002 that Nichols has taken on Southern, but they're going to be in town. Remember, LSU, they are on a bye, so that's going to be one of the big shows in town. 50% on Friday, and again, look at the back end of this 10-day. Look at the end with the low temperatures in the lower 60s here. That's in the city. That means some areas at the end of the 10-day, they're going to be in the 50s, Johnny A. That is definitely pumpkin patch weather, sir.
Oh, we are loving it. Thank you, Jared. All right, coming out of Denham Springs, backed up to Juban, and that'll be for the next half hour or so. Right on into East Baton Rouge Parish, that's the Millerville Road camera, and that's facing toward the Jefferson Drusilla exit, Sherwood, Jefferson Drusilla airline. Our drive times are okay from Gonzales, and we're still up to almost half an hour from Denham. That'll kind of waver around that half an hour time period for a little while, and then down to the downtown area. Not bad this morning. Little break tapping around College and the College overpass, but all in all, not bad. Speaking of overpasses, the on-ramp at Perkins to I-10 West will be closed all day Saturday. We'll have some nighttime road closures and lane closures and that ramp from 10 to 12 in the overnight hours as the road work continues. And the Atchafalaya Basin fiber optic cable project has been extended to October 21st. That affects eastbound only coming out of Lafayette. All right, cue the shut up music. Where is that? Hello? There we go. Hey, all right. 9 News Now, every weekday morning, give you an update on some of the headlines you might have missed during the big show. Liz and Matt next.
$7-11 your time right now. It's also a very good convenience store for those in a certain part of the.
Are they in the Midwest? I mean, are they in the South?
I don't even know.
Okay.
But all over the country.
Yes.
Actually paying attention to one thing last night, perhaps the vice presidential debate.
And the tune of this debate, much different than we've seen in the last two for the presidential debate. Yeah, J.D. Vance and Governor Tim Walz here going head to head, talking about the issues that American voters are seemingly at odds at. So we saw a very civil debate last night. And some of the different topics, well, they kind of skirted around the issues here. When it came down to swaying voters, well, this debate, when it came down to polling people, they were trying to convince people who may not have made a decision yet. Right. At the end of the day, CBS News polled some of the people who watched the debate saying they believe J.D. Vance came out 42%. Tim Walz, 41%.
November, right around the corner, of course, November election. Speaking of November election, when you get into those working the elections, we're talking about commissioners out there kind of, we got a mayoral forum here, sorry. We talked about commissioners being trained. There's actually like 2,500 in EBR alone. That is what we're talking about right there, the poll workers wrapping up, and they're getting ready for a big November election.
Sure are. They're going to whittle down that pool, picking about 600 of them. They've been training hard, going to these classes. It's interesting to see this resurgence of people wanting to work at the polls for election integrity. There is a whole process. That's why they have a class. Right. If you'd like to find out more details, you can find Liam's story on the 9 News app.
And there is that forum getting together for the mayor's candidates that we were just kind of showing you as well.
Yeah, the Manship Theater tonight at 5:30.
Exactly right. I want to show you this as well, though, because somebody we got a person of interest out there right now. This is a gigantic story that we've been following for you for a little while here. Terrian Thomas, Mr. Prada, known as Mr. Prada on TikTok, wanted as a person of interest in the death of a Baton Rouge therapist.
So we've shown you that picture there, that person of interest photo. Well, just yesterday, that's when police let us know, yes, a TikTok personality in the area wanted in connection to this case, but not charged with anything in connection to Dr. Nick Abraham's death. So a lot to still figure out here for investigators, and they're really hoping that you can help call in some tips to fill in those missing gaps. That number, 344-STOP.
Also, check this out. Keep the number handy, 344-STOP. That is Talia Black. She's 22 years old, wanted in connection perhaps to a shooting back on September 15th, one that injured a man. So if you know where Talia Black actually may be, again, this is a shooting in Baton Rouge, right there kind of Highland and Lee Drive. Make the phone call to Crime Stoppers. Okay, tonight's going to be a great night out here. Point Khabib Parish, Livonia Police, they're all getting out there for a national night out. Kids versus first responders kickball game. Come on, it's going to be a great time there in Point Khabib Parish. Make your way out to the Lions Club Drive. Tonight, it's going to be a good night. Should be. Not as sweaty playing, too.
I haven't played kickball in forever. I'll tell you, though, I once made a fool out of myself. If you go to kick and you miss the ball, but step on the ball, guess what happens? You roll right off the ball and you put yourself on your butt.
Yeah.
I
would pay to see that.
Well, that's the thing. People, you can't, like back then, no cameras, these things weren't everywhere. Now it would be everywhere.
Oh, yeah. I would have been on camera.
Oh, absolutely.
I would have gone viral. Not in a good way.
Well,
is there a good way to do it?
These days, yeah. If you're a pygmy hippo.
I see what you mean.
It's time to gear up for game day at Team Toyota. Right now, get a new 24 Tacoma for just $269 a month, or get 2.99% financing for 72 months on a new Toyota Tundra. Score thousands in savings on your new Toyota from Team Toyota. I-12 at O'Neill.